to misalignment of the neck muscles, dysfunction of the large intestine, then your kidney starts to descend, then your kidney starts to become inflamed, then it destroys the entire lower floor of our building. I'm trying to turn it around, and when I try to hold it for 5 seconds, it doesn't feel good at all. I decided to record this video because I had an extremely interesting case recently. A patient came to me and I diagnosed him as usual, and I found some important signs indicating that he was not well. First of all, there was something wrong with his cerebral circulation. I urged him to see a doctor and undergo an examination, and fortunately he followed my advice and was diagnosed with a potential stroke condition. If we hadn't diagnosed this potential problem early on, he would have probably had a stroke with all the terrible consequences. For this reason, I decided to record this video for you, which is dedicated to the points that you should pay special attention to in order to avoid terrible consequences. Well, I am Stanislav Chernonog, and you are on the channel of our online school of vector massage and somatics. Hi. And the first point we're going to focus on to test is going to be the subclavian muscle. The subclavian muscle is so important because it stabilizes the clavicle and the scapula. And if these parts of our body are not properly stabilized, it leads to misalignment of the neck muscles, which in turn leads to impaired cerebral circulation. Let's find out together right now through a test if your muscles are in a good condition. You go to the mirror, take your straight arm with the palm forward, and raise your arm to your head. Ideally, when your arm moves vertically upwards, you don't have to tilt your head or bend to get your arm to touch your ear. Here, do it on one side and then on the other side. If you feel a difference between your left arm and your right arm, it means that one of your arms is not working well enough. By the way, this test is one of the tests we demonstrate in our new program, which is dedicated to self-diagnosis of your health. Within this program, we diagnose our body based on more than 30 points, and we fill out a special proprietary diagnostic sheet. This program is paid. It costs only 999 rubles. Follow the link, purchase it if you want to take responsibility for your own health and to understand what is happening to your body. The next structure I want to talk to you about is the quadratus lumborum muscle. It sits between the lower ribs and the crest of the iliac bone. The quadratus lumborum muscle stabilizes the lumbar spine. This muscle is extremely important to us because if it's not working properly, if it's not feeling well, it will lead to a dysfunction of the large intestine, which will have the most unpleasant consequences, up to and including congestions, which very often lead to colorectal cancer. And as you know, colorectal cancer is the most common type of colon cancer. In addition, the quadratus lumborum muscle, if it is not working properly, is responsible for the formation of herniated discs in the lumbar spine. So, what do we need to do to see if this muscle is okay or not? First, we are going to put our hands on the sides of the lumbar spine, place our thumbs on the transverse processes of the lumbar spine, and start to perform bends sideways to the left side and to the right side. If at the moment of bending sideways you feel soreness along this structure, or if you have an asymmetry of the range of bending to one side and to the other side, it indicates that one of your muscles is in a pathologic condition. If the pain, the feeling of soreness is severe, it is a sure sign that you most likely have herniated discs there in your lower back. Well, the last muscle that we're going to talk about, this muscle is also very important for the stability of the lumbar spine. It's the lumbosacral muscle. I'm sure most of you haven't even heard of this muscle. However, it is an extremely important muscle because if it is not working properly, a person is bound to have serious kidney problems. The fact is that the kidney lies directly on the lumbar muscle. If this muscle doesn't work properly, your kidney starts to descend, your kidney starts to become inflamed. Infections can easily enter the inflamed kidney. These infections spread throughout the genitourinary tract. Men will have prostatitis, women will have uterine and ovarian problems, and as a consequence, the lumbar muscle will destroy the entire lower floor of our building. We can hardly palpate this muscle. You'd have to be a professional to do that, but we can tell what condition it's in. To do that, you'll have to stand up and test it through a functional test. In order to diagnose the lumbar muscle, you have to stand up, turn your leg sideways and lift it straight, toe out to the side and try to hold it for 5 seconds. Now let's look at the other leg. With my left leg, paradoxically, as you see, I started having problems. The leg is shaking, and when I try to hold it for 5 seconds, it doesn't feel good at all. This is a sure sign that my left lumbar muscle is not doing well, that it's not functioning as it should, and that I need to pay special attention to the condition of my kidneys on the left side. Well, I sincerely hope that you repeated all the diagnostic movements, all the massage movements together with me, because you really sincerely want to make friends with your body and finally become a healthy person. If that's the case, if I'm right, then I highly recommend that you purchase that program that I talked about at the beginning of this video. It's a self-diagnosis program that will allow you to understand where you have difficulties in your body and map out your priorities, where you need to work on your body first.